Haven Hearth is an unforgiving sandbox MMO where there's a lot you have to learn if you want to survive, so today I'll be taking new players step by step through the basics. If you want to play with friends, please check out my video on wilderness beacons first. I'll put a link in the description. Otherwise, let's carry on to character creation. Using left click to move, make your way northeast out of the lake. Pick your character's gender by crossing the river ahead in either section of shallow water. The section on the left changes your character into a girl, and the section on the right changes your character into a boy. Once your character's body has materialized, you can customize your hair color and hairstyle by walking to the west and right-clicking on this reflecting pool to interact with it. If you want to see your character up close, remember that you can rotate the camera with the middle mouse button. Once you reach the end of the character creation room, you'll see a wizard and a fire. Interact with the wizard with right-click and enter your character's name, and now you're ready to burn in the fire, spawning your character into the vast wilderness at a random location. Now that you're out into the world, you may notice a list of tasks in the bottom left corner of your screen. This is the beginning of your tutorial quests. To progress, you'll need to open your character sheet in the bottom right corner of the screen. You can also press Ctrl-T as a shortcut to access it. The character sheet has a few different tabs at the bottom of the window that you can click through, but for now let's just view the Quests tab. Now you've been given 3 new quests. We're going to start with Ways in the Wild, so make sure you have that one selected. Our first task is to pick a branch from a tree. Just like the wizard in the character creation room, most in-game objects can be interacted with by right-clicking on them. Trees have a limited supply of harvestable items which regenerates after several days, so if you right-click a tree and you don't see an option to take a branch, that means there aren't any left on that tree. By the way, the sound effect that played when you harvested that branch indicates that you earned a discovery. In other words, you harvested or crafted a new item for the first time. Discovering new items will give you a small amount of learning points, or LP, which is a crucial resource for your character's development. You can use LP, for example, to unlock new skills. Open your character sheet and navigate to the Lore and Skills tab to view the skills you can currently purchase. While you're here, make sure to purchase the Foraging skill. You'll notice that doing so unlocks a bunch of other skills, which we'll come back to later. As you harvest more items to earn more LP, you might find that your inventory is getting pretty full. You can press Tab to check what items you're carrying. If your inventory size looks way too small, don't worry, there are ways to get more space. In the meantime, you'll have to be selective about what you keep and what you drop. Use Ctrl-click to drop an item from your inventory. Another handy shortcut is Ctrl-Alt-click, which will drop all items of the same type. Once you've got some space in your inventory, find a rock on the ground and chip a stone from it. You might notice some glowing icons in the bottom right corner of your screen. If you don't see them, make sure that you have this menu opened and that you're on the top level, like this. This is where you'll find your adventure, building, and crafting menus. Let's go into your crafting menu. You'll unlock new recipes as you discover new items and unlock new skills. Since you've discovered a branch and a stone, you can now craft your first tool, a stone axe. While we're here, let's back all the way out of the crafting menu so we can access the adventure menu. You'll be coming back here a lot, but for now I want to show you something inside the toggles section. The ability to turn automatic item stacking on or off. Make sure this is turned on so you can save even more inventory space. Most items of the same type can be stacked. Open your inventory and left-click an item to pick it up onto your cursor, then right-click an item of the same type to make a stack. Hovering over a stack will allow you to interact with the items inside. Now let's equip your axe. Open your equipment menu with this button. You can also press Ctrl-E as a shortcut. Left-click the axe in your inventory to pick it up onto your cursor, and then left-click on your character in the equipment menu to equip it to one of your hands. Before you start chopping trees, though, you're going to need some fresh water to restore your stamina, so look for a birch tree and gather 2 pieces of birch bark. Discovering the birch bark will unlock another new crafting recipe for a kuksa. Craft one, and now you have a vessel which can hold water. Your next task is to find fresh water. Your character can walk in shallow water, but they can't swim when you first start out. Drowning in deep water is a very common cause of new player deaths, so I recommend you stay away from swimming until you know exactly what you're doing. Pick up the kuksa onto your cursor like you did earlier with the axe, and right-click the shallow water to fill it up. Finally, put the kuksa back into your inventory by left-clicking an empty inventory slot. Finally, you're almost ready to chop trees. Go into the Lore and Skills section of your character sheet to buy the lumberjacking skill and get chopping. Your stamina will deplete rapidly while chopping, so your character will need a break to drink from the kuksa. Just like with objects out in the world, you can right-click on some items in your inventory to interact with them. That being said, you want easy access to your water in case you get in a sticky situation, so please go to the adventure menu and put the drink action on your hotbar, specifically on the right half. Once you restore your stamina with a drink, finish chopping the tree. One of our remaining tutorial quests has us lift an object. Fortunately, we have fallen logs right in front of us. Go into your adventure menu again and look for the lift action. I recommend you click and drag this action onto your hotbar so you can easily perform it by using a number key. Once you press the lift hotkey, left-click the object that you want to lift and your character will start carrying it overhead. To drop the object, right-click on the ground wherever you want to put it, and your character will drop it there if there's room. Next, let's learn about stockpiles, which are handy storage objects. Chop a few blocks of wood from a fallen log. Pick up a block onto your cursor from the inventory, then right-click on an empty spot on the ground. You'll see an object on top of your cursor. Finally, left-click on an empty spot on the ground, and your character will place a stockpile there if there's room. Stockpiles can contain a large amount of a specific type of item. Lastly, I want to teach you about running. Your speed gauge is at the top left of the screen, and you have 4 speeds: crawling, walking, running, and sprinting. Running and sprinting consume stamina, so make sure you have plenty of water to drink for when you need to go fast. To change speeds, you can just click on the appropriate icon, or you can use the Ctrl-R shortcut to cycle through each speed. By the way, you can't sprint on heavily forested biomes. Now, there's still a lot to learn about Haven and Hearth, but I hope this tutorial at least helps you get a feel for the basics. If you're interested in more advanced tips, my biggest tip is to check out a custom client from the Steam Workshop or the official forums at havenandhearth.com, but I digress. I plan to upload more guides on other topics like character growth and claiming land in the future, and in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below.